Well, what's going on, future millionaires? Now, in the past, I made multiple videos talking about why I think Solana can be successful and also why I like Solana personally. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about some of the main weaknesses of Solana, just because I do think it's mindful and I do think investors should pay attention to this if they aren't already. Now, I know most people have talked about this, and one of the main things that people talk about with Solana is the network outages, right? So let's briefly go over and see what 𝗕𝗏𝗘𝗚𝗓 has to say, which is the founder of Solana. You can see network outages have been Solana's curse, says the co-founder. Now, network outages continue to be Solana's biggest challenge, according to its co-founder 𝗕𝗏𝗘𝗚𝗓. It launched in 2022. However, 𝗕𝗏𝗘𝗚𝗓 was working on Solana since 2017. Now, the Solana network has suffered a number of network outages, which have come from a number of different congestion and spam events. Now, heading over to spam events, if we head over to this brief article from 𝗦𝗛𝗡𝗏𝗏, you can see Solana is prone to serious outages because of this relative centralization. Now, people claim that Solana is more centralized than others, which I do have to agree. Now, on the other flip side of that, centralization is in crypto, and I do think it's going to stay, in my opinion. Also, with that being said, I do think centralization will help Solana as well, right? And the reason why I say that, because I think it's centralized enough for the government to utilize Solana. And this is why the Central Consortium, who's behind Circle, which is why they chose Solana back in 2021 to be the main chain for USDC, right? Not Ethereum. Why is that? Because of the scalability, because of how cheap it is. And because of how cheap it is, it results in other things, which we're about to take a quick look at. So if you look here at this other highlighted part, the same features that help Solana gain traction also make it vulnerable to spammers. Solana low transaction costs are low because, unlike Ethereum, users cannot pay miners to ensure that transactions process faster. This made it cost effective for spammers and bad actors to cause network congestion and other chaos, right? So over the past couple of years, that's kind of been the trend for Solana, it having multiple network outages. I believe just last year in 2022, it had anywhere around, I think, 8 to 12 network outages. And I think the longest time that the network was at a halt was around 17 hours, which is a very long time. And so that is definitely something, to keep your eye on regarding Solana's reliability, and when it comes to its scalability at certain times when things can get congested and then the TPS drops. And so, however, on the flip side, this is still why a lot of centralized companies, and also why the Central Consortium chose Solana, because of the network scalability that it has and how fast and how cheap it is as well. And so, with that being said, the other thing I want to touch on here is the FTX and the Alameda research and Solana, right? Because if you know, FTX and Alameda hold a lot of Solana, and they both filed bankruptcy. So at some point, those Solana coins will have to be sold, which can definitely damage the price of Solana. So if you briefly look here, FTX and Alameda still hold a substantial amount of SOL. This SOL will eventually have to be sold one way or another, because both companies have filed for bankruptcy, and this can have a negative effect on the SOL price. Now, the Solana Foundation had a large amount of FTT and Serum stored on FTX. This can be a major setback to the Solana Foundation, and therefore for the development of the Solana network. And the reason why that can be a problem, because if they're losing funds, that gives them less money to grow the development of the ecosystem, right? And so this is why this could be a setback for them. And if you look briefly just down here, there are a lot of new blockchains coming up, and the main one here is Aptos, which a lot of people are calling it the Solana killer. Now, in my opinion, even though it says it can do up to 160,000 TPS, that is massive, right? But one thing to still keep in mind, Aptos hasn't actually been battle tested. There's a lot of blockchains actually that haven't really been battle tested like Solana. Solana has been battle tested, right? So we still don't know what a lot of these other up and coming blockchains are going to be able to do when the rubber meets the road. And so that's one thing I do like about Solana. It has been battle tested. Now, one thing I briefly want to touch on here. If you look right here, it says top ecosystems for monthly active developers. And I put this out about a month ago. You can see 4 weeks ago. You can see the second blockchain is Solana, right under Ethereum. Now, some people kind of say Solana is hard to work on for developers, but the dev growth has shown to be consistent, and it shows to keep growing even despite the FTX and Alameda debacle that's going on. And so I think that's a positive sign. However, we have seen the DeFi TVL have dropped considerably as well, kind of during that time with FTX and everything that was going on. And so that's something also kind of keep your eye on. And so with all that being said, I just wanted to touch on some of the key main factors that I think investors like myself who think Solana can be successful. I have multiple reasons why I think it can, but at the same time, it does have some weaknesses. And that's every crypto and every blockchain has strengths and they have weaknesses, right? Which one will outweigh the other? So in the grand scheme of things, long term, I'm still bullish on Solana. I still like what they can do with just their scalability, the cost effective that they are, how efficient they are. Not only they have the Solana Pay that I think can be a real competitor for Apple Pay and Google Pay and Visa if things go right. You also have the NFT community, which I think NFTs is still the future. You also have the ability that it can also be intertwined with EV payments as well, and that news came out, I believe, back in 2021. I'm not sure if that's still a big focus, for Solana. I know the biggest focus right now is Web3. They have the new Solana phone coming out also, so there's still a lot of things that can be integrated with Solana, and there's still a lot of companies that have their eye on Solana to use them for, everyday payments. And so with that being said, I like the success of Solana long term. So if you're still watching this video, I want to say it is much appreciated. Smash that like button if you haven't already. If you like what you heard and saw today, definitely hit that subscribe button. And if you're one of those people that make a lot of money in crypto and you're looking for a way to maybe pay your bills in crypto or off-ramp some of that crypto to your bank accounts, there will be a link down in the description called Spritz Finance. It's super legit. I've also did a video on it as well, so check it out on the channel. But that's all I got for you. I will catch you guys on the next one.